I didn't reject the information because it was wrong. I rejected it because it knew too much about me. The lab was quiet that night. Screens dimmed. Notes stacked in the exact order that made me feel competent. The data appeared clean, clear, undeniable. And still, something inside me tightened before I could read it fully. Not fear, recognition. When information threatens identity, the brain does not argue. It protects. It doesn't shout objections. It redirects attention. It dulls relevance. It delays acceptance until rejection feels natural. I remember telling myself I was being rational. That belief arrived exactly when the information stopped feeling real.
Number 10. The micro scene opens with a researcher standing before a whiteboard, marker uncapped, half a diagram erased, his eyes fixed on one familiar equation while the rest blurs, a shallow breath escaping. The psychology label is identity-based attentional narrowing. The mechanism begins when identity threat activates stress, which constricts attention toward familiar beliefs and away from destabilizing input. The pattern breaks when the erased section is never redrawn. The human trigger is self-stability, mirrored by the line, "What threatens who you are stops being visible."
Number 9. The microscene shifts to a man scrolling through an article on his phone, thumb slowing as a paragraph challenges his long-held view, screen dimming slightly as he locks the phone. The psychology label is threat-avoidant focus. The mechanism diverts attention from identity-challenging material, reducing exposure before conscious resistance forms. The pattern breaks when the article title alone feels exhausting. The human trigger is internal alarm, mirrored by the line, "The brain narrows vision to keep the self intact." Number 8. The micro scene shows a woman at her desk, inbox open, a critical email marked unread while less important messages are answered first, her shoulders lowering as the count decreases. The psychology label is emotional relief substitution. The mechanism trades confrontation for calm, rewarding the avoidance of identity-threatening information with immediate emotional relief. The pattern breaks when relief feels earned. The human trigger is tension release, mirrored by the line, "The brain learns which truths cost too much." Number 7. The microscene follows a student closing a textbook mid-chapter, a highlighted sentence lingering in peripheral vision as he switches tabs to familiar notes, jaw unclenching. The psychology label is discomfort minimization. The mechanism associates identity-safe knowledge with comfort, filtering out destabilizing material before it can integrate. The pattern breaks when stopping feels responsible. The human trigger is cognitive comfort, mirrored by the line, "Relief becomes evidence enough." Number 6. The microscene presents a manager reframing feedback aloud, tone calm, words softened, a mirror behind him reflecting a practiced expression of reasonableness. The psychology label is moral rationalization. The mechanism reinterprets threatening information as unfair or misguided, preserving moral self-image under threat. The pattern breaks when dismissal sounds ethical. The human trigger is self-respect, mirrored by the line, "The brain protects goodness by rejecting challenge." Number 5. The microscene captures a friend at a cafe, nodding politely while mentally discounting criticism, coffee cooling untouched, reflection steady in the window. The psychology label is value shielding. The mechanism aligns perception with existing values, filtering out information that implies moral inconsistency. The pattern breaks when disagreement feels inappropriate. The human trigger is moral coherence, mirrored by the line, "Threatening facts are recast as misunderstandings." Number 4. The microscene freezes on a closed office door, warning sign taped at eye level, a report left outside unread. The psychology label is identity locking. The mechanism seals boundaries around the self, preventing threatening information from entering awareness entirely. The pattern breaks when reopening the door feels unthinkable. The human trigger is existential safety, mirrored by the line, "Once identity hardens, information stays out." The door does not open. The report remains outside. The boundary holds. Number 3. The micro scene shows a family dinner paused mid-laughter, a man holding his fork in the air while defending a story everyone knows is incomplete. The psychology label is identity defense. The mechanism fuses belief with belonging, distorting perception to avoid social fracture. The pattern breaks when silence feels more dangerous than distortion. The human trigger is belonging, mirrored by the line, "Under pressure, truth competes with acceptance and loses." The image remains. The fork never lowers. The sentence hangs. Number 2. The micro scene depicts a woman scrolling past evidence on a screen, thumb moving automatically, face illuminated by selective affirmation. The psychology label is defensive exclusion. The mechanism rejects information that threatens self-concept, admitting only identity-safe signals. The pattern breaks when dismissal requires no effort. The human trigger is self-continuity, mirrored by the line, "The brain learns which truths feel like attacks." The scroll continues. The evidence stays unseen. The glow does not change. Number 1. The microscene ends in a silent room, notes reorganized, a revised narrative settling into memory as breathing slows. The psychology label is narrative closure. The mechanism integrates the protected version of reality as fact, ensuring stability through omission. The pattern breaks when the new story feels original. The human trigger is peace-seeking, mirrored by the line, "What threatens identity is forgotten first." The notes stay ordered. The memory stabilizes. The alternative fades. Identity rejection leaves residue, not as denial, as certainty. You don't feel defensive, you feel grounded. The brain rejects threatening information long before you notice the loss, not to deceive you, to keep you intact. If something here resonated, that is not agreement. It is recognition touching the edge of the filter. This channel exists to observe those moments before rejection completes itself. Stay, because what your brain refuses to see quietly decides who you remain.